How anxiety sabotages gay relationships. Hey guys, Michael Pizzulo here, psychotherapist in West Hollywood, working mostly with gay men and gay couples. So we all know what anxiety is, right? It sucks. I think we often think of anxiety as something that only affects us, but what I want to talk to you about is how anxiety can actually impact your romantic relationship, particularly for gay men. And I want to give you three specific ways that I think that this shows up. So the first one is being addicted to drama. So one thing that happens when we're anxious is that we have this internal sense of restlessness and dis-ease and so on and so forth. And there's this urge often to externalize it, to have our internal experience match our external world. So even if we're in a relationship and things are going great, and maybe things are going great in our life in general, we might find that we constantly stir up drama or stir up chaos. And just either by manufacturing it or by just pulling it into your life unnecessarily. And while that might feel sort of, kind of fulfill this impulse to match your internal dis-ease to the external, what you're going to end up doing is dragging your partner into it. And they might not want to. They might be a person who actually prefers calm, prefers, neutrality, but your anxiety that's pulling you into chaos and drama might be pulling them as well. And you might want to consider whether or not they like that, and if they want to be a part of the drama, and if it's worth it for you to allow the anxiety to take you and him to this sort of more chaotic place. That's the first thing. The second one would be living with a sense of constant urgency. So again, when we're anxious, we often feel sped up, pressured, and we have a hard time sitting still. And this can show up for people in a myriad of ways, but one of them is that there's always this urgency to be on the go, to keep doing things, to keep rushing, to keep just moving as fast as you can so you don't have to sit and feel the discomfort that you're experiencing. And there's a few issues with this. One is that obviously if you're with someone and he doesn't like to be constantly moving around and being busy all the time, he might start to get kind of frustrated. But I think more importantly is that when you're always on the move, you never have time to be present and to digest and almost kind of like touch grass or smell the roses sort of a thing. And a problem a lot of anxious gay men get into is that they don't actually appreciate what's in front of them because they're not fully present to experience it. To truly, experience the good in your life, you have to be present to take it in. And if you're constantly moving, you may not actually be absorbing, the great things that you have going on in your life and the great things that you have going on with your partner. And the third one would be a persistent inner critic. And I think pretty much all of us, have some sort of inner monologue that, criticizes us or is the voice of fear and that sort of thing. And that's totally normal for gay and for straight people and just people in general. But people who are anxious, this critic is often faster and louder and often kind of repeats itself in a more of an obsessive way. And what that can lead to, obviously it's very uncomfortable for you to have to experience like loops of anxiety and, negative self-talk. But what it can do in a relationship is it can lead you to elicit constant reassurance from your partner. So if you are constantly feeling insecure and you're stuck on loops about, things that you're not doing well, or feeling bad about yourself, about how you look or your job or money or whatever it is, that if you can't get off this anxious merry-go-round, you may start to elicit your partner for reassurance. And while someone who is in a romantic relationship with you should provide some degree of healthy reassurance, they can't pull you out of the loop all the time, and it may just be too much for them. And so what ends up happening is that you might overburden them by constantly, again, allowing the anxiety to spin you around and then asking them to sort of stop you from spinning. It's just almost like it's too big of a task for someone to do. Plus they've got to deal with their own inner monologue and their own inner critics. So the anxiety, while it may seem kind of, simple and innocent, and that sure, we all have a negative inner voice, if it gets out of control, it's really going to ramp up that kind of obsessive looping thinking. And it's going to eventually become a little bit burdensome on the person that you're with. So those are three specific ways, again, that I think that anxiety can sabotage relationships for gay men. Obviously, this varies from person to person, but I wanted to offer you three specific things and to really think about, The anxiety that we experience is painful, difficult, but it doesn't just burden us. It really can burden people around us, and it can really tax our relationships in ways that we may not think about. So all the more reason to take care of yourself and really focus on, owning your mental health and your emotional maturity and intellect, because it's not just a service to you, but it's a service to those around you. So hope that was useful. As always, please comment, let me know, if you've had experiences with this, if you feel like your anxiety has showed up in your relationship. Subscribe to my channel if you want to hear more about gay men's issues, relationships, mental health, all that sort of thing. And if you want to work with me directly as a therapist or a coach, the booking link will be in the description. And I thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.